The United States financial system is on the verge of undergoing the biggest change in contemporary history. Republicans and Democrats, innovation and regulation, and freedom and control have been at odds in the discourse surrounding digital assets for years. However, that split has recently been broken. A secret congressional session has been disclosed, and something unexpected occurred during that session. There was a rare consensus among the advisors of former President Trump and President Biden's administration. They both came to the same conclusion. XRP is not only essential to preserving the US dollar's dominance in the world economy, but it may also be included into America's digital currency of the future. Let's start with the real outcomes of that meeting. Key personnel from Ripple Labs, Federal Reserve officials, and senior members of the House Financial Services Committee attended the meeting, according to insiders. Reportedly titled Cross-Border Dollar Liquidity Infrastructure, the document describes a strategy to use an energy-efficient, neutral bridging asset to enable real-time settlement for global transactions. That description is a perfect fit for one thing, if you follow the hints. The XRP ledger and XRP. The fact that both political parties, who are frequently at odds over every financial matter, concurred that the U.S. cannot afford to allow other countries, particularly the BRICS alliance, to acquire the upper hand in cross-border settlement technology is even more startling. For the first time, a crypto asset, not Bitcoin, Ethereum, or XRP, has garnered bipartisan support. We must return to what Congress has been quietly debating for more than a year in order to comprehend why this is important. Members of both parties discreetly mentioned Ripple's technology throughout a number of public hearings, particularly when discussing fast settlement and ISO 2022 compliance. Although these allusions may have appeared little, they were actually preliminaries for something much more significant. Interoperability has previously been tested by the Fed. Own private blockchain infrastructure for FedNow Plus, its future digital currency system. The leak indicates that a bridge network between RippleNet's on-demand liquidity corridor and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's digital dollar pilot has already been tested, despite the official line's assertion that the system is exclusively domestic. To put it another way, the infrastructure needed to integrate XRP into the U.S. financial system is not yet available. It has already arrived. One paper even listed XRP as the intermediary asset in a schematic that depicted settlement between a Ripple liquidity hub and a US CBDC node. That isn't conjecture. Technical architecture is that. Public-private interoperability guarantees dollar liquidity on the international scene, according to the same paper. Interpretation XRP is positioned to prevent foreign central bank digital currencies from displacing the dollar. Despite its cautious stance on cryptocurrency, the Biden administration understands that America needs to be in charge of the world's payment systems. Adoption of XRP, on the other hand, is seen by Trump's team as a means of restoring American dominance in trade agreements without increasing money production. One tool, two very distinct political agendas. Now consider the consequences of this. It's survival, not party, when both political parties agree on something this significant. Inflation, debt, and de-dollarization initiatives by nations attempting to circumvent SWIFT are all putting increasing strain on the U.S. economy. As was mentioned in that conversation, a hybrid system, a tokenized digital dollar supported by XRP's efficiency and liquidity, is the answer. The concept is straightforward, but, to be honest, innovative. Ripple's network enhances the dollar rather than replaces it. While using XRP as the neutral bridge, all foreign transactions resolved through this system would still be conducted in US dollars. It makes the payment process quick and almost free while maintaining dollar primacy. Consider it this way. The financial system of today operates at a fax machine's pace. XRP travels at the internet's speed. The Fed is aware of this. Congress is aware of this. Even the White House is now aware of this. The United States cannot afford to wait years to adjust. Blockchain-based settlement systems are already being implemented by China, Russia, and the BRICS countries, endangering American participation. The goal of the bipartisan agreement being forged is to use cryptocurrency as a weapon for the benefit of the country, not to like it. XRP is now viewed as vital infrastructure rather than a speculative token. Several senators highlighted in the leaked discussion notes that the United States has a ready-made route to worldwide domination in digital settlement, thanks to XRP's current global liquidity corridors. Ripple's system was even referred to as the Digital SWIFT 2.0 by one source. That wording is important. It shows that the US government and Ripple share a common goal: a single instantaneous worldwide payment system with the dollar as the primary currency. However, the plumbing is provided by XRP, and all other countries will follow after the US incorporates XRP into formal frameworks. That's how much of an impact the dollar has on you. What is the price trajectory of this? Let's examine the figures. For dollar-based transactions, XRP would need to sustain trillions of dollars in liquidity if it were to become the global settlement layer. According to the leaked paper, a minimum circulation value of $250 billion in XRP could be necessary for merely 5% of the Federal Reserve's cross-border operations to ensure quick worldwide settlement. That corresponds to a theoretical price of almost $500 per XRP at current supply levels. That's maths, not crazy fantasy. Additionally, the price may rise significantly if XRP is fully adopted and held as collateral by banks and corporate treasuries. Built for scale, Ripple's ledger can process more than 65,000 transactions per second while using almost no energy. That degree of efficiency and compliance cannot be matched by any other blockchain. Critics would argue that this is too convenient, but consider why Ripple has persisted in growing its alliances with regulatory agencies and central banks despite SEC criticism. The SEC complaint was never about legality. Rather, it was about timing, and they already knew where this was going. Before adopting XRP, the US government has to regulate it. This is precisely what is now taking place, thanks to Ripple's partial court success last year. The endgame is now confirmed by the Congressional League. Integration follows regulation. Adoption follows integration. Valuation follows adoption. There is also a great deal of political symbolism. Any agreement between Biden and Trump in 2025 would make headlines, but their agreement on XRP is history in the making. It implies that the technology developed by Ripple has evolved beyond a simple financial instrument. It is an asset to the country. Public pronouncements that are framed in neutral words such as strategic payment resilience or digital infrastructure modernization should be expected soon. However, people who are aware of the signs will understand what is being conveyed. XRP is the foundation of the US's covert plans to integrate blockchain technology with its monetary system. Decades will probably be spent studying this period as the transition from the previous financial order to the digital age. Through bipartisan cooperation, not anarchy, the top is finally providing the clarity that the world has been waiting for. Regulation isn't the only thing XRP is doing. It's becoming into a link between the old and new dollars. Every investor and government bank following this narrative is fully aware of what that implies. The global financial reset has already started and is not going to stop. Therefore, keep in mind what this actually means when you hear about new legislation, task forces, or pilot projects in the months to come. Behind the politics and press releases, there is a silent, well-coordinated effort to completely restructure the U.S. financial system using Ripple's technology. The financial environment will drastically shift once that system is operational, and XRP is formally acknowledged as the settlement layer of the digital dollar. And those who owned XRP prior to that news